Alright everybody, welcome back to the KSR YouTube channel, where today we're doing something a little different. Probably saw in the thumbnail. Got somebody new here. That's a new project. We're getting Collete ready for roadkill nights. Talk to you guys more about it on the other side of the intro. Alright, well, as you guys saw, we got Collete here and Nick down from the LZ compound with her roadkill nights car. And we're bringing her in, gonna weigh it first. And stop. Back just a little bit. So yeah, Collette's gone and built her a drag car. What do you think about that?
It's actually crazy how fast this happened.
Yeah. Right, we just showed up and here we are. I don't know how we got here, but we're here.
We're here, and we're here to learn the real drag things.
Yeah.
We don't know that stuff.
Cool, yeah, so you guys got this, what, 3 weeks ago?
I mean, technically I think we got the car about a month ago, but we only have the engine.
2 weeks ago.
2 weeks ago, engine, transmission, controller kit, ECU, all that stuff. So.
That's a thrash.
Yeah.
But you got a unique but very well suited car for what you're doing.
Yeah.
So if you guys haven't seen on her channel already, she's building this for roadkill nights up in Detroit, which is a week from today. And we've got some work to do. Get her tuned up, and then we're gonna go out to the track later tonight where I get to do a little teaching, because I've done a whole lot more drag racing than Colette's done.
A lot of teaching is needed tonight.
I think you'll be fine.
Today. Teaching us how to set this up, how to drive it.
Yep.
A lot of teaching.
Cool. Cool. Well, let's jump in and get to work, and we'll show you a little bit more about what we're doing while we're doing it here in just a minute. All right, so the first thing we do when any new project comes into KSR, get it in the lift, kind of give it a good look over, and see if there's anything that really jumps out at us right in the beginning as far as something that majorly needs to be addressed. But the cool thing about this car is it was being built in a garage by a guy, and he actually did a very good job on the work that he completed. Now, they ended up swapping the entire engine and transmission and getting set up with a new drive shaft and all that stuff, but they made it work. They found a set of headers that would kind of fit for the engine. And to plan out the rest of our day, because we really don't have a lot of time to work on this, we're going to drop the car on the scales, and that's going to give us an idea of where we need to move weight, if we need to add some weight to the back of the car, which is kind of what I thought we were going to need to do anyway for the Roadkill Nights event, because when I had looked at the results of that and watched prior years, the road was a struggle. And I know they try and prep it, but it is a street that they try and prep. So we're going to do our best to make this thing work in the limited time that we have. All right, so we kind of got us the game plan. Drew's over working on a bar to be able to mount some weight back here in the back. They had a battery in the trailer, and it works out perfect to get an extra 45 pounds right at the back of the car. We're gonna give them the option of adding more weight, because if the road is not very sticky up there, which, having watched years past videos, it's a spin fest. So whatever we can do to make this car go 100 feet quicker, even if we sacrifice a little on the top end, what we'll gain by not spinning as much on the bottom end will still be faster. I think that all made sense. But gonna do a time lapse. I'm gonna mount the parachute. Gonna get a whole lot of other little stuff done. Nick's working on the transmission tunnel. Collette's sealing up some of the cracks in the floor in case there's any water from the intercooler tank that gets the sloshing around. Here in Florida, the ice boxes sweat a lot, and that's just kind of what they do. So time to get back to work, do some time lapsing. We'll talk to you again in a little bit. All right, well, you may be able to tell from the last little clip, but I'm already rushing in my delivery, kind of rushing to film because we don't have a lot of time to get the car ready, and there's a lot of small things that still need to be done, but we're all thrashing. Drew's working on the weight bar mount. I'm mounting the parachute. Nick's patching up the corner of the transmission tunnel where the headers were, well, they trimmed the transmission tunnel to fit the headers. Colette's working on painting the door outside, which you can't see. And then she's also going to start installing the side window so that we can figure out all that stuff. She's also sealing, I said it was the cracks in the floor, which that sounds bad. But what it is that she's doing is actually sealing the joints between each of the panels in the floor. Just because, like I said, the ice box that they have in the car, typically when the humidity is really high, which it often is in Florida, the ice box will sweat, and then you end up with kind of like a little puddle of water in the car. And normally I wrap those ice boxes with a towel so that if they do sweat, the towel absorbs the moisture and you don't end up with water that can drip in front of your tires and contribute to a huge loss of traction. All right, well, I've been working on getting the parachute handle relocated. Since Collete is so short, where the guy that built the car had mounted the parachute handle, she really couldn't reach it. And we want it to be somewhere that is easily within her reach if things go sideways. So that's a real thing. If you dig way back in my videos, you'll see a video where I ended up sideways after making a 172 mile an hour pass in the 8th mile. I ended up sideways in the shutdown, and I used the parachute to help straighten me back out. It's way back in my videos, but it's pretty exciting. Back before I really started doing YouTube stuff, I kind of was just putting up random videos, and that was one of the ones that made it up there. And it was a wild one. But Nick's working on the transmission tunnel, chipping away on that.
I'm trying to get this all sorted. We had to modify a lot to get the headers to fit, so kind of re-modifying now.
Yeah, got the pedals box all bolted down over there.
Yeah, that's all solid now.
So we are chipping away, and I'll show you some tips for setting up your parachute in the back, which you saw me get everything set up on, you know, getting the parachute pack mounted. And I'll show you some tips on doing the cable here. All right, so what we want to do here is we want to cut this off about 1 inch past where it hangs out from the loop. I know that the handle up front moves more than 1 inch, so we know that'll pop out. You see we machined a piece here to, you know, kind of protect the end of the cable and keep the cable from getting caught on things. And I've got 2 more tips to show you as soon as I get this cut. That looks like it's good there. Make sure the handle's all the way back. Just can't add back to it. All right, that's where most people stop. And the problem is this edge right here is very sharp. And if you leave it like that, sure, your parachute will deploy most of the time, but it's also damaging the loop on your cord every time you throw the parachute. So what we do is we come in and just take some kind of flat disc. And basically I'm making it so that when I run my fingers across it, I do not feel any sharp edges. So now we can stick this right in here. Well, might have to hold the handle back. All right, so now once we're in there like that, I'm going to take your chute cable, loop it around behind, and it comes out nice and easy. Comes out nice and easy without tearing up the little loop anymore. And when you're going down the road, put your pin in there so that your chute doesn't accidentally deploy in your trailer. There we go. And always leave this on the back of your car because you're going to need it after every run. All right, so lots more progress happening on the car. You can see that Colette's got the passenger side rear window put in. The passenger side door paint is good enough on it, and she is assembling the window to it off camera. Drew is working on setting up the drive shaft sensors so that they will have drive shaft data for the clutch guy. They had installed a race pack data logger in this thing since it has a factory ECU controlling the engine. And when you've got a slipper clutch like they have, the data for the drive shaft RPM versus engine RPM is critical to being able to set the clutch up properly. So we got all of the wiring installed for that, and they need to go through and kind of do some programming. Once we get done here, we're going to try and get to it, but we are quickly running out of time because if you see during parts of this video where you can see outside the door, like right now, it's already getting pretty dark out there. We need to bleed the brakes, so that's what we're doing now. And then once I start moving up towards the front of the car, Drew is actually adjusting the height of the rear shocks because now that we've added weight to the back of the car is sitting lower in the back, so we need to change the shock mounting on the rear end so that the shocks still have room to compress without bottoming out the rear suspension. So we do a bunch of changes there with that and get the brakes bled, and we keep checking things off the list and hoping that we're still going to get the thing done enough to go to. Okay, so if I didn't tell you guys what engine is in this thing, it's the Red Eye supercharged Hemi. So you can kind of see her peeking up in there. We'll show you from the top here in a minute. But they got extremely lucky that they were able to use a set of off-the-shelf headers, even though I had to modify the transmission tone a little bit in some spots. But as far as a custom late model engine install into a full-on race car chassis, to get away with that is pretty awesome. And then you can see they did a pretty trick exhaust setup with the oval pipe, lots of pie cuts, lots of welding. And the car's got a really nice drive shaft tunnel in it, nice and thick, so it if anything fails in there, it keeps it inside of the tube, hopefully. Supported really well with a double drive shaft loop. I don't really know why it needs that right there, but it's there. But we are just about to drop it on the scales again, get all the tires balanced out, drop it on the scales and do our kind of final weight moving around, and then probably put the alignment strings on it, and then maybe do some test launches. We're still trying to make it to the track, but it's pushing 9 o'clock and track closes at 10:30. Luckily, it's only 10 minutes from here, so that's good. But we may not make it to the track. Stay tuned to see if we do. So with any race car, or any car period, you really want your tires all pointed straight and in the same direction. There are some exceptions to that when it comes to road racing, and depending on how the suspension reacts through travel, there may be some exceptions to that rule. Well, not maybe, there are some exceptions to the rule, but that's a deeper subject than we really have time for today. But we square up the rear axle here, and you guys have seen me do alignments before with my Smart Strings kit. But if you haven't, go back and check out some of our other videos with the alignment of a race car. And again, these are from a company called Smart Racing Products. It lets you align your car in your home garage. I use them because I cannot take a full scale alignment rig like you see at most alignment shops. Well, I can't take that to the racetrack. Not only that, they're really expensive. And this kit here is affordable enough to have in the shop, take it to the track, not worry about, having to take a $50,000 alignment machine to the track with us. So we do a little bit of work on the alignment, and we're about to discover a problem. All right, so we found a little problem that's going to prevent us from making it to the racetrack, and this is the problem. So there's supposed to be a bushing between here and here. As you may can imagine, that's not good. Especially because it's on the front, and any changes that it makes in camber also makes the toe do things that we don't want it to do. So luckily I happen to have some Delrin, and we're gonna make a bushing real quick. Maybe blast it across the dyno, maybe not, might be out of time. But if nothing else, she's at least gonna attempt to burn out in the parking lot. So that'll be fun. Hang on for that. So like I said a second ago, I'm gonna machine up a bushing here for that control arm end. And, you know, one of my things that I like to watch is machining. I don't know why. I like to, probably one day I'm going to do a video that's just nothing but close-up machining because I think it's cool. Maybe you guys will, maybe you guys won't. But this is kind of a rush fix. It's not completely accurate as far as how it was done in the stock form. So we kind of just machined a little Delrin spacer, and ideally you make one that comes in from each side, so it's kind of got like a hat that captures it on each side of the bushing. We were really just trying to get this thing together. It's already pushing, you know, 11:30 at night. We're all pretty tired and worn out, and we really need to try and test something so that we can start to figure out how the clutch is working on the thing. But it doesn't matter if the clutch works if the tires aren't pointed straight and the car's trying to put Collete in the ditch every time she tries to go wide open. So I was trying to get the bump steer corrected, which you might be able to see a little bit of it, but if you watch the front wheel as the car goes up and down and the weight gets applied to the suspension, bump steer is how the tire changes its alignment as travel happens. So we were able to get it pretty doggone good by shimming the outer tie rod. It took us a little time because eyeballing it, I saw one thing that I thought needed to happen, and I tried it and it didn't react the way I thought it was going to. So we ended up adding a whole bunch more shim to it, and things started to come around. And if you watch real close, the front tire does not hardly change toe at all now through droop travel, which is exactly what we want, so the car's predictable when it's on power. Well, no dyno. After our problem we had on the suspension, that's what time it is. And it's still 86 degrees in the shop. Well, we're gonna go do a burnout, and then we're going home. You ready to go home?
You know what kind of burnout it's gonna be?
Oh, yeah. There we go. T-shirt available at WithKSR.com.
Did not plan that. That was perfect.
I don't even have my, I had my Fast and Free shirt on yesterday, but that's still my favorite shirt. Anyways, let's go do a burnout. What you doing, Drew?
Doing a water show.
Well, she's got to practice her burnouts because she's never done one in the car before. So it's funny, that car sounds stock, but just open headered exhaust because it's basically a stock engine. It's just almost 1,000 horsepower stock engine from Dodge. So that's kind of cool. Oh, she's just gonna go for it, eh?
Okay.
driving through the tire? Was it just pushing the front tires?
I don't think he used the line lock. He let off the line lock.
Oh, okay. It was trying to go somewhere. Bad.
You just need to stay a little more committed to do a great burnout.
I wonder if it'll pull third.
Oh yeah, it would, it seems. It seems to like that. It's pedaling in second.
Yeah.
So it's working.
Yeah, if she could just get the wheel speed up higher and get some smoke off of them.
Yeah. It looked like it was trying to take off even right out of the snow.
I'm an expert at spraying water. You can somehow get certified. Yeah, I do.
All right, we're gonna try third. See if this works in third.
Initial hit.
Well, that's because it was in the water. That was just.
Yeah. Oh, okay, got it. Yeah.
That was, and like looking at the stripes, like they're pretty well the same color.
Pretty solid.
Yeah, that was
good.
That was nice. I still had to pedal it. So.
Yeah. Oh yeah. You can hear her pedaling it. My ears are blown out. Yeah, I can.
So, all right. Well, she's gonna go do some more practicing at the compound down there at the LZ compound, and we're going home to go to bed.
I want McChicken first, shower, sleep. In that order.
In that order. All right. Thanks everybody for watching. We'll see you guys next time.